What if I told you we literally have copies of the gospel that was circulating around the Arabian Peninsula when Muhammad was around? A lot of Muslims say that the gospel had been corrupted by the time of Muhammad, especially when he began to spread Islam around the Arabian Peninsula. And this is as a way to defend the fact that the Quran says in multiple occasions that Muslims should validate the Torah and the gospel or the Injil. I mean, we see it time and time again, and the Quran makes the case to specifically call out the Torah and the Injil. So when us Christians and even Jews say that there is no mention of Muhammad in the Torah or the Injil, well, Muslims have now said that the Torah and the Injil were corrupted by the time of Muhammad. But is this actually true? And do we have any copies of the Torah and the Injil or Gospel during the time of Muhammad? So what I'm showing you here is Codex Ambrosianus. This is a compilation of 5 manuscripts. They are dated between the 6th to the 11th century, depending on the manuscript. And they were discovered in Alexandria of Egypt. Again, in the Arabian Peninsula, where Islam was first spread, and during the time when Islam came into fruition, that is the 6th century. So I want you guys, especially if you are Muslims, to look into these 5 manuscripts. For the sake of this video, I am going to talk about Codex letter C, which actually contains fragments from chapters 25 to 27 of the Gospel of Matthew. Now, why is this important? Well, because in these chapters, specifically Matthew 27, we not only get the crucifixion of Jesus, which, by the way, Islam completely denies that it happened, despite the fact that I have reported multiple sources that are non-Christians, whether they are secular, Stoic philosophers, or Roman historians from the 1st century that all affirm the crucifixion. Islam has denied it altogether. Matthew 27 not only says that the crucifixion happened, but also literally says that Jesus is God's son, as you can see from verse 54. To make the case even worse for Islam, in verse 63, there is literally a mention of the resurrection after 3 days, which is also denied by Islam, because of course it would. They believe that Jesus was never crucified, so how can Jesus resurrect if he was never crucified under the idea of Islam? Well, because we've discovered Codex Ambrosianus C, which literally contains Matthew 25 to 27, and this is also dated to the 6th century, and it was located in the Arabian Peninsula. Well, it's pretty safe to say that the gospel was in fact preserved even at the time of Muhammad and when Islam was first starting. I mean, even if you wanted to disregard all of the evidence that I laid out, we have archaeological findings like the Megiddo inscription, which literally calls Jesus God, and this is dated to the 2nd century. Some archaeologists are saying the 1st century. So to say that the gospel, the Injil, and the Torah were corrupt, well, when did that even happen? Because if you have Christians, even in the 1st and 2nd centuries, claiming that Jesus is God, affirming the crucifixion, affirming the resurrection, and you cannot pinpoint when the whole religion apparently got derailed to the point that Muhammad would have had a completely different gospel, or you have no grounds to state these claims that Christianity was corrupted by the time of Muhammad. Therefore, you have no other option but to believe that the gospel and the Torah have been preserved, which is literally what archaeology and what historical figures affirm. And therefore, once you do that, you have to understand that Islam is very far away from what the gospel and what the Torah before it say. It's just 2 worlds apart, because it denies key foundational aspects that are found in the gospel, key foundational aspects that are found in the Torah. So to not make the video too long, I will actually end it here. I encourage you guys not to be lazy and actually look into this for yourselves. Don't take my word as face value, but do your own research and be honest with yourself.